So this class is recorded. This is Josiah again on Each One Teach One. Before we start, I would like to thank every one of you for showing up today to this class. And I appreciate you guys coming and pushing and trying to do the best that you can. And for those of the audience that's watching, thank you guys again. Before we start, we want to thank Lockdown LLC for the support they've been giving us. And we also thank Each One Teach One Tech for implementing this program. Today we are going to do quite a few things. We're gonna stand up a VPC as well as put an EC2 in the VPC and hopefully automate using Terraform the VPC that we're gonna set up today. So let's take a look at what we have from the roll call and everything else from the roll call to the class schedule and to the guide that we have, the guidebook. So we're going to take a look at it. So for today we are looking at the 29th, and 29th we have a couple of things to do which hopefully we get around now. So today is the 29th of November. So I'll scroll down quickly here. I'll share my screen so that way you get to see what I'm doing. So the screen is shared, and I'm going to scroll down a bit more. So I'll scroll down a bit more. Right here, we are going to tackle here. It says automation on EC2 with Terraform, and we're gonna use we're gonna go through AWS console. Now we're gonna set up a light cell, which is pretty much less administrated and less developmental kind of environment or compute that will allow you to set up like a website. So I recommend that you go in and to the schedule guide, IFACT schedule guide, and take a look. It's recommended that you know what you're taking on that day. Every day, like today, 29th, you know what we're going to be doing. Now, before the 29th, we have to automate VPC as a use case, which we didn't do. Okay. To automate VPC as a use case, which I think 24 and 29 are pretty much the same thing, only that we added the part number 2. Okay, so let's start even from 22. So in 22 we introduce the VPC and we look at the interesting parts of the VPC, including the route tables and elastic IP, NAT, and internet gateways. Okay, so without further ado, let's go get our hands dirty. So last time you went in the class, we discussed the hypervisor. Were you able to read the hypervisor to understand how it plays into the cloud?
I haven't read it yet.
So for hypervisor, it's pretty much a very sound technology that provides you compute, networking, storage in a very concise, specific way. It's almost like robot automation. So there are two types of it. There's a type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. You can easily find them in Google. However, I can effectively demonstrate what the hypervisor looks like, and that would pique your interest, and hopefully you will do more research and get a lot more things done. So for instance, this is a VMware workstation. There's another one called VirtualBox. These are a type of type 2 hypervisors. And going to Google, we can get a lot more information about hypervisors. Let's do that quickly. We can get a lot more information. I encourage you to use Google because the world we're moving into is really too fast. If you're gonna have to remember something, you better know where to go find what to remember, because there's too many stuff to remember, right? So
yes,
we go to Google, we type Google, and we go hypervisor, and that will give us everything we need to know about it. Actually, the guidebook has an excellent demonstration about it. to demonstrate our need to be nimble and move really fast, we can do this easily, and we get information that we need from this awesome website. Okay, so when you read the document in the guide, it will pretty much tell you what you are seeing here. So server virtualization allows different operating systems running separate applications on one server. It does allow that. That's one of the beauties of virtualization. So the virtual machines make it possible for systems and network administrators to have dedicated machine for every service that they need to run. Before hypervisors, when a network goes down or when a server goes down, it takes over 24 hours or 48 hours to get it back up. But with this hypervisor technology, you can do that in 15 minutes. So businesses indulge in this kind of technology because of the agility and elasticity and the need to move really fast that it gives them. It gives them that little edge to be nimble, to respond to an impaired system immediately, as quickly as can be. So that's why you have the likes of Microsoft and AWS have 99.999% tolerance to like any kind of outage. So which means they are perfect. Yeah, they're talking about an hour out of 365 1/4 days. An hour of impaired service. That's amazing. So in this article, we discuss what hypervisors are. As you can see, there are type 1 and type 2 hypervisors. I already inundated you on that. And the definition of hypervisor is just very important. So it abstracts guest machines and operating system they run on from the actual hardware. So it's like you have a hardware. Inside the hardware, you can have all different kind of operating system running. But this operating system are running on a hardware availability layer, HAL they call it. Is running on that layer. So hypervisors create virtualization layer that separate the CPU from the processor. But yet it is bare metal. For type 1 is bare metal, and you have an operating system in the like of that hypervisor running on it. And then for type 2 is still bare metal, but you don't have, it's not necessarily bare metal, sorry. It has an operating system, but you run the hypervisor inside the operating system. These are type 2. And that's the one I'm about to showcase to you. So the machine will install a hypervisor on, is called a host machine. And the guest virtual machine is the one that runs on the machine that we install the hypervisor on. So for instance, you take a look at the type 1 hypervisor, we click on it, it's bare metal, like I said. You click there, you look at it. So the bare metal is pretty much dedicated server, nothing, no operating system, but you're gonna now bring the hypervisor to that dedicated server and make it and operate a system that runs the hypervisor. You see? So a hypervisor is a combination of many things. You have a hardware, but you have a software layer that makes that hardware come to life so that it can run a bunch of servers, okay, or workstation, etc., on a single server. So as you can see, this is the grandfather of the cloud, as you can see. So we've taken a look. We took a look at the hypervisor type 1, which is bare metal. So when we click on dedicated server, you see what's going to show us. You see, it shows you this kind of stuff. These are what you call VPS. See, these are VPS, dedicated servers, hosting. Remember, hosting services for internet, and etc. And this is how it all started. Okay, now you see cloud here, virtual private data center, and etc. So there's still machine behind all of that. So this is hypervisor type 1. So let's go back to see type 2. So you have the type 1, as you can see, you have virtual machine, you have type 1 hypervisor. What is this showing you? It's showing you the physical server itself that you bought, which is a hardware, and then inside that physical server you can run VirtualBox, which is an Oracle product, and you can run virtual machines, which is Microsoft product. So what you see here are three major companies. And VMware is a company, but it has different flavors, ESSi, and you also have vSphere, and you have the Hyper-V, and you have Oracle VM, which makes virtual boxes. these are the type one that major big companies are using, like Amazon, Microsoft, AWS, other enterprises, Fortune 500, which means they have a server, a hardware that they buy. In that hardware, they put this operating system that you're looking at right here. But it's not a regular operating system. It's VMware ESXi 6.70. It's a VM kernel. The release build is given there. This is how it's set up. And this is all its information. And this is pretty much a configured one that you can run. I've used this a lot of time when I was about 10 years ago. And I tell you, it's a lot of fun. And you can use vSphere to manage these ones. And it's great. It has all kind of stuff that you could even imagine. You can move a hardware, like your workstation in your office. You can literally convert it to virtual. It's called P2V, and you have it up there. Okay, so these are what it is, and these are the vendors here: VMware, vSphere, ESXi. These are one of the vendors. KVM, kernel-based virtual machines. These are one of the older technologies, but they are still being used in your current computers, but a lot of people don't know. So in the BIOS, you still have the KVM AMT, which allows somebody to get access to your device remotely without you knowing most of the time, because of the KVM is built in. It's part of this same technology. So you see Microsoft Hyper-V, they call it as Hyper-V, Hypervisor. And then you have Oracle VMs. VM stands for virtual machine. So this hypervisor is open source Zen. It has a Zen at its core and it's free. Zen is a distribution of Linux. It's free. You can also install it and play with it. There's also Citrus Hypervisor. It's known as Zen Server, formerly known as Zen Server. A lot of people that have this kind of skill get paid a lot of money up to date. Then for type 2, you see the scenario changes. You have an operating system, and then you have all this stuff living inside of the operating system, as I will demonstrate to you. The type 1 does not have operating system. It itself is the operating system, as you can see here. So in your book, this link, exact same link, is in your book. Okay? So that's it for hypervisor type 1, type 2. And just in case if you didn't get the definition of hypervisor, you can come here in Red Hat, which is an authority to this kind of technology. You can just read it. A hypervisor is the software that runs virtual machines. That's it. A hypervisor sometimes is called virtual machine monitor, VMM, virtual machine monitor. It isolates the hypervisor operating system and resources from the virtual machine. You see, and enables the creation of management of those VMs. See. So you have a hardware. In that hardware, you can run VMs, virtual machines. That's if you have type 1. You can run thousands of them. At the same time, if you have a machine running an operating system, then you can run a different kind called type 2. So I will demonstrate to you a type 2, which is what I have here, VM Workstation 15 player. So I will crank it up. Hopefully it will run for us. Not hopefully, it will run for us, and you will get that experience as to what a hypervisor is, since you want to classify things in. And so we bring this up, and it looks really good, and we're gonna crank it up by clicking play. It will play. You will see a hacking system that is already in my operating system, which you can use to hack somebody if you know how to. So these are some of the stuff I'm hoping that a lot of us will start to understand, see how we need to get into the field and be a part of the action instead of staying on the sidelines. So this machine is gonna come up. It's gonna come up and run as a regular operating system, only that it's a Linux distribution for those doing offensive security. Kali Linux is the name. I will hope to remember the password. If I don't, I will try to change the password somehow, and then we'll move forward in our course. So it's coming up. Why is coming up? While it's coming up, let's see if okay, it's really coming up. Can I log in? I wonder why it's coming up. I need a graphical user interface, but it's coming up like this. Okay, it will give me graphical user interface in a while. and hopefully I remember the password. Once I remember the password, I log in with the password, and we should be in business. Okay. All right. So as you can see, what I was showing you, you see, this is my operating system here, right? But this is the VM I just, virtual machine, that virtual workstation is a VM virtual machine. In this case, it's a virtual workstation 15 player. You see, it's running. I can now go inside of it. I can even show you the interaction between that one and the hardware and operating system that sits between the hardware and it. So if I remember the password, I should be able to log in. Okay, I should be able to do alternate control insert, so I can type in it, maybe function insert, then it will allow me to type in it, hopefully. Okay, function insert. So it's not recommended to log in with the root, but I am logging in with the root this time. Okay, so it seems like I remember the password this time. PP. Last time I didn't. I have to do something to get into it. So Moses, are you there?
Yes,
Voila,
I'm here.
Voila, you see, you have a Kali Linux. It's type 2 hypervisor that's running on here. Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
Before you can install the type 2 hypervisor like a VirtualBox or this one, VMware, you need to go to inside the BIOS and set your BIOS to use virtual technology, VT. Okay. Once you set it in the BIOS to use the virtual technology, then when you install, get it here, then you should be able to work like this and all of that. As you can see, this is showing connected, if I'm not mistaken, wired connected. As you can see, I might want to try one or two things. Let me bring up a terminal and do something. I can ping anything. Let's see. I'll do a CMD on Windows and see if I can ping it. And I believe I have it as a NAT, so I can do that CMD on here and see if I can get my IP from here and try to IP config. So it's Ethernet wired. So okay, I think I'm looking for this one, Ethernet adapter, Ethernet Q, and this one. Okay, and two. Okay, fine. So let's see if I can get this one. Let me see if I can ping it first of all. I think I see 8 here, and I see 0, and I see .2 here. As you can see, it's pinging. Okay, so I will stop it from pinging. This makes a lot of sense. It's pinging to that one. Okay, so basically we can see it's the IP here too. If config, if config, I didn't write it well. If config for Linux, so the IP here is this one, right? Right, this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the IP here. So let's see if we can ping that from here. Okay, we've already pinged from the other one, so let's see if we can ping that from this one. Okay, and that will complete our whole idea of what we want to establish. That is indeed a part of this network. So the IP address that you are getting from here is telling you that it's coming from a router, and that router is of gateway.1 from what I taught you guys in the past. So that's where the network comes into play. As you can see, it's still pinging. Okay, so it makes a lot of sense that we can do this. Alright, so with this knowledge, equipped with this knowledge, we can move to the next level. Now you can stand up a hypervisor, you know that, and this is almost like how the cloud works, only that cloud is very expensive. Instead of my little hardware, which is my laptop here, you have a huge data center located in places all across the globe, and they are all connected through what? Remember, availability zone. 1 or 2 data centers in availability zone, and then in a region you have availability zones in the regions. Remember, we learned that. So you have so many regions across the globe, and they are using a huge massive mainframe systems to host the same thing that I just demonstrated to you. And now everybody in the world can access it. But now this is my own little laptop, the one I'm running here. You can't access to it because I wouldn't give you access to it. So you can't consider it to be a cloud. But if I give you access to it, and it's free to everyone, and it's reachable all across the globe, just like anybody in the world can see the cloud, then it becomes cloud. I think I've made my point clear what cloud is, right? Right? Moses?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry.
So that's that. So I'm going to turn this off here now. And I'm powering it off. It's going to power it off. It goes away. It's like nothing happened, right?
Yep.
Disappeared. That's your cloud.
Nice.
No problem at all. So next move, since we know what a cloud is, that means we've taken care of 22. Right? We've taken care of 17th. So let's do 22. I'm going to take you to VPC. I'm going to introduce you to VPC. This is the video for VPC here, and I wish you would have taken it first. We gotta play with it a little bit, and I'm gonna be really fast with it, and I know you will get it. Okay, let's go. Alright, so this is the account. This is I'll edit this video anyway. So we're gonna go to the dashboard. You already been into the dashboard in the past, and you see all the services, some of the services that's in there, and you look at the resources like the instance running. We have zilch instance running, to be precise. You can see there's nothing running except for security groups that is here, and I don't know what this security group is doing. So because of that, I'm prompted to see if there's something running somewhere else that I'm not aware of. So let me look, see if there's anything running. VPC. Oh, so where is the VPC located? So let's click on it. VPC ID. Oh, okay. It doesn't have a name, but it says it's available and it's running. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're not gonna kill ourselves over that, but we do know that we have something running in the light cell. So I'm gonna check another region, which is Virginia, to see what's running there. I never created anything like that with you anyway. So we still have that. We have a VPC there, same VPC, and we're gonna check California. Possibly we check the billing, so from billing we might even see if there's something running that we're not aware of. So I go to support. Oh no, I go to AWS right here. This account has no it has no like IAM. It's just pretty new and it hasn't been configured appropriately anyway. We go to billing here. Okay, let's see what's going on there. Alright, so the building, as you can see, it's light cell. I knew it. It was a light cell that is running. And light cell, I'll show you how we came about the light cell, okay? This is, I'm not gonna give too much information. Okay, we say light cell, okay? So that way we know. And I will pretty much show you in the end. Light cell, okay? Okay, so we do that. So that way we know it. So tagging is very important in this business. So to get to light cell, all you have to do is go to services, to go to light cell. Light cell is pretty much non-administrative, it's not complicated. It doesn't have the admin side of the stuff. It doesn't have much of the dev side of the stuff for you to configure and do all that stuff. It can easily allow you to stand up any server that you want with the application already on there. That's why a lot of people use Lights Out, because it's very easy to implement. So as you can see, that's what my wife did. She configured this by herself, and she have known nothing about IT except for instruction, what I told her to do. That's it. And she did this all by herself. And her website is running. This is her website. You don't need to know too much nowadays. You don't even need physics and all of that. She designed this thing by herself. Just going to YouTube and taking some instruction from me. That's what she does. So I coached her to do it. So if I coach her to do it, any one of you can do it. It's not complicated. So she did this. So she was able to do this because she had the information about creating instance here. And you can create any instance you want here. See? Application plus operating system. All inclusive. But in other side, in the Amazon side, the console, you have to do the operating system separately, configure it, and then you have to go and install the application that you want on it. Like for instance, the frameworks that you want on it, whether it's Laravel, LAMP. As you can see here, you can choose WordPress, which is the simplest way to design a website. You can even do a multi-site where you can put thousands of websites for $3.50 right here. First month is free. So there's a ton of opportunity laying there. Nobody's using those opportunities. And if you have a small business, Amazon can give you a plan. I mean, they can give you a $350 support plan and $1,000 to run your operation because of the situation we find ourselves right now. You can benefit all of that. So this is how she did it, instead of doing it the other way, which is going to here, the console, doing all that. But today I'm going to show you how to start up VPC like I promised. So let's do the VPC. There are two ways to do VPC. You can use the wizard, or you can configure it manually. Okay, so if we want to do a VPC, virtual private cloud, which means we're gonna put EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud in them, so that way we can secure our subnets, which means our network. So you see this, you can launch VPC wizard, or you can create VPC without the wizard. So we're gonna launch it. We're gonna launch a VPC. Okay, so you have to be careful which one you want to create. For instance, there are 4 options here, and you can also come up with your own idea, hybrid ones. So for this one, VPC with a single public subnet, and for the second one, VPC with public and private subnet, and for the third one, VPC with public and private subnet and hardware VPN access. See, remember, VPN access is virtual private network access, which allows encryption and secure connectivity. So as you click on each one of them, it's going to lay down a CloudFormation template for you, which is here. So you have a CloudFormation template where it's telling you, oh, this is your public subnet. So if you have a server, your public subnet is going to have the servers here, because that's the way you open the ports for everybody from the internet to go to. Then your private subnet should have what? It should have like people that work for you in internal network. And then you have your, corporate data center, which is also in a different network, like a virtual private network, because you don't want nobody to access it. Sometimes people separate the commercial data from their internal data. So if you have a commercial data here, like somewhere here, behind, sort of like if you have a load balancer, it should be behind a firewall. Like if you go from the internet and you go to virtual private cloud, which is this virtual private cloud. Now, if you have a web server, you should let people come into this one. Of course, behind a firewall. you open the necessary port, they go through the necessary port, they come here. But you never let people from the world internet to come to this one because this is private. The only way to get to the private is if you're already in here. Then you can go here. And the only way to get to the virtual private network is if you're already in the private network. Then you can go here. So let's keep it simple. For single public subnet, very easy. You just have a public network. Anybody can go to it from the outside world. However, you still have a firewall here, and you also have your security groups to allow the right person through the right port to come in. Okay? Basically, not the right person. The right person will be IAM, but the right IP or the right allocating resource should be able to go into the security groups. So I'm interested in showing you this one right now. So let's select this one. And also we have to pay attention to creating the subnets. As you can see, this is /16. /16 is very big, 65,000. I think 63,535 number of nodes you can have. And /24 is not that big, about 256 you can have for this one. So just keeping that in mind. So you need to also consider the region you are choosing. Some regions, if you set something up in some region, some services you can get, some services you can't get. Can you tell me what region we are right now?
It says North California or not?
You got it. That's it. That's where we are. And it's East Coast. For latency, you might want to consider to do East Coast for latency, because we're here, we created here, it will be faster for us, and then people everywhere else might not be that fast for them. But for accessing from the regional office, it's better to have to be in the same region, right? That only makes sense. Now we can select this and we go ahead and create it, and we need to pay attention to what we want to use. /16, and our network is not going to be that big, so maybe we might consider /24. That if it allows us. You see, it has 251 IP. Basically, it's 256. But remember, the network IP have to go away. Remember, network IP have to go away. The broadcast IP have to go away, and you have 254. But because this is Amazon, they're probably doing some stuff with the other 3 IPs, which I don't know. Now we want to choose a name for this. We're gonna call it let's call it something simple, IFACT. Okay, let's just say IFACT. IFACT.
Alright, so why do you choose 24 instead of 16?
Because me and you, we're not gonna create more than 5 or 2 EC2s in them. Why do we have to choose /16? /16 is too big. Let me show you. It's huge. Look at it. 65,535.
Oh, okay.
It's too big. So if we choose /24, that one makes sense for us. You see. Assuming if we even choose /30, it makes more sense for us. Oh, they don't have that block. You see. They don't have that block. So let's try 28. See. They don't have that block either. Let's try 25 to see. Okay, they only have the end at 24. Okay. All right. So we say IFACT. No. Let's just say public. PUB. It reminds us it's public VPC because you cannot access public VPC from the private. I mean, you cannot access private VPC from outside from the internet. No, you can't. So we have to specify public IFACT VPC, okay, like that. So it makes more sense. As you can see, you have the CIDR. The CIDR block is /24, and you have your subnet, which is this /24 as well. And then availability zone. We have no preference, right? It's still east. East could be 2A, 2B, 2C, so no preference. So it will give us wherever I want. unless you want to specify, you can specify 2A because it's in order. So you have to name, we have our VPC name. I have to give my subnet name the same name as the VPC so I don't get confused. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Very good. So we don't have any service endpoint. Service endpoints probably means like if you have a particular service that you want to add an endpoint to it, like you have an API with a specific universal resource locator or universal, uniform resource locator, you have to put it here. If it's like a database, whatever service, like this one is S3 bucket, but we don't have an S3 bucket. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we don't have an S3 bucket service. Even if we do this, it will create it for us. But do I want to do that? Now let's pay attention to the public subnet that we are. Okay, we choose public subnet. That means everybody can access it, but we still have to choose the access that we want. See, full access allowed by any user of service within the VPC to use this. So let's choose this one, okay? But you can also specify a custom one where you write what you want to do for this over here, following what they have written. Because here the full access is like action. Action is a static action. It means any action that is allowed under that VPC. Then the effect is allow that action. And resource, you see the star there? It's telling you all the resources available there too. See the principal is telling you the same thing. So if we click at this endpoint, it's gonna create a subnet that bucket for us. So add endpoint. Currently supported for gateway endpoint. Oh, currently supported for gateway endpoint only. Okay. We don't have a gateway endpoint and we're not gonna create one. Alright. So we're just gonna go back and we don't have a DynamoDB either. We don't have a database, so we don't need this one. So we're just gonna get out of it. And now hardware tenancy. We don't want to dedicate it, it will cost us more money, so we just leave it as it is. And once I click on create VPC, it's gonna create the VPC. This is VPC, reminds you of a network in your house. Inside that network is all your computers and everything. That's just what we just created. We just spin up a network, and in that network we can put whatever we want to put in that network. So as you can see here, we have that network right here, and I'm gonna name this network here, which is the one my wife has already. So I'm gonna say it's light cell, so that way we don't confuse ourselves. I think I said before is S light.
So the full meaning of VPC is virtual what?
Private cloud.
Okay, private cloud. Okay.
This virtual private cloud, but that doesn't mean that it is all private, because you have to have the public facing subnet and private facing subnet. So now we go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to get the EC2 running, and that will kind of make sure the light bulb comes on for you immediately once I do that. So since we have a VPC, the next thing we have to do now is to go and get
not a background noise. Not a background noise.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next thing now. We're gonna stand up on EC2. So that you can do your EC2 this way, but there's also another way to do it, which is automation. I will show you automation today, God willing. I will show you the automation, which is actually the work for today, okay? So we're gonna go and launch the EC2. Remember, we have our VPC that we set up, the public one, and we'll put our EC2 there. And in the future, we create the private one and we put our EC2 there, and we'll access both of them from outside the world, from the internet. So let's launch an EC2. For EC2, you have to always remember Amazon machine image, which is what holds the pretty much the operating system that you need to have running.
Are you still sharing your screen?
Let me check. I think I never stopped it.
I don't see anything there now. I only see E1 on the screen.
Okay. Let's go back. Do you still see anything?
All I see is E1. Because before I was seeing the all the Amazon stuff.
And now you're not seeing anything.
I don't see anything at all.
Not even now.
All I see is E1.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. How about we kind of refresh it, okay?
All right.
I'm gonna refresh it. That will allow us to get back to basics again.
All right, I see you.
Do you see the screen now?
Yeah, I see the screen now.
So I went back here and I said we're gonna go ahead and launch an instance, EC2 instance, which is pretty much a computer in the cloud or a server in the cloud, and we're gonna put it in the VPC. Okay, instead of just having a virtual private server that's just out there, we put it inside the network that we want, given our specified ranges of IP addresses. So we're gonna do that now. For this, you need to remember, for the exam, you need to remember Amazon machine image, and to stand up one, you have to do this. You have to launch the instance. By launching the instance, you want to go to the marketplace. Always remember that's your marketplace. In the marketplace, there are community AMIs, which is free. These are community AMIs. These are free. And then there are marketplace. This one's, pay attention. If you buy stuff from here, you're gonna have to pay for it. It's not free. For quick start, these are the ones that AWS set up for quick starts. And I usually like Ubuntu. I like to stand up Ubuntu, and I really like Ubuntu 18 instead of 2020 LTS. LTS will stand for the latest tested. Let's see what it means. I forgot the latest tested LTS. Some of these terminologies you need to remember them, so it tells those that are gonna be hiring you that you probably know something. So this is oh no, it doesn't mean long-term storage. I'll tell you exactly what it means. Okay, we'll find it. Or long-term support. It shows that one has a long-term support. Okay, so you want to do the ones that have long-term support. So let's say we choose this one, we go with it. And for me, my laptop is 64-bit, and I want to make sure that what I'm getting as an AMI is also 64-bit. It's like you installing a hypervisor, type 2 hypervisor. You want to make sure that VMDK or VDI or VDX are the same thing as the architecture of your operating system. So in this case, I'll click select. Once I click select, pay attention. You see, for quite a few things about to happen. You see, because billing and pricing is a very important domain, part of the domain in Amazon CFL CO1, which is the Amazon Cloud Practitioner exam. We have to pay attention. Now for the tier 2, for the T2 micros, which is really small, as you can see, it has just one CPU, 1 gig of RAM, and they have elastic block storage, and it's low moderate performances. I use it for a lot of stuff, so they're absolutely right when they tell you low performances. But there's one funny thing: when you use over 750 hours in a month, they start to bill you to about 0.05 cents or so, which is about 40 cents in a month. 0.005, but you get about 40 cents in a month. So 0.0025, sorry, which is about 40 cents in a month. So they start to bill you when you go over 750 hours. So if you go over 750 hours, now they will be billing you for by the second. That's how they bill you. So you can actually get that information if you type Amazon billing here. www.google. They will not ask you exactly how much you have billed in this little exam, but the big one, the architecture exam, possibly they will ask you. Amazon billing. Over 750 hours. T2 micro. So let's see what we get there. So as you can see right here, it's very simple. Free tier Amazon, 750 hours per month for T2 micro. Then after that, these hours can be used by instance running for full 31 days, 24 hours, 744. But most people run above it. And after that, I want to find out what they're charging you after that, okay? Okay, let's go to this one. Yeah, this one is authentic, so we get the information we need here. Okay. Yep, Amazon Institute pricing. Okay, savings plans, reserve instance. Basically, yeah, dedicated hosting, per second billing. Like I said, I was right, per second billing. But we want to get the price calculator so that we can see exactly. This is not inspector, trust advisor. No, not either. Use cases. Create estimate. Amazon antenna. I just want EC2 here. EC2 configure. Alright, I recommend that you do this anyway. Quick start. Linux. This I don't want this one. That's too much of a processor. Okay, let's see. You can just choose, like the one we have is this, right? And this one is this, right? And one gig, right? And add requirements. So they don't have the one we have anyway. They don't have it, but this is reserved instance calculation, so it's not really what we want. My estimate, this is reserved instance, as you can see below here. EC2, savings plan, convertible, on demand, standard, reserved. Still, this is not exactly what I want, but it's good for exam though for you. Always remember the cost calculator. This is good for the exam, but still not what I'm looking for. Economics Resource Center. I'm looking for how much they charge you when your bill is above 750 hours. What the billing becomes after then. Free tier. Okay, free tier. This might give us what we need. When does the AWS free tier expire? 12 months. Okay, what do I need to qualify for AWS free tier? Are there limitations to? Okay, this is what we want. AWS free user tier is not limited to specific use cases. This offering provides. I use a free user tier. Launch to no application I want to run. Okay, it's talking about the application, but I want a billing specific question. If we sign up to consolidated billing, we can get the AWS free tier for each account. No. If you're using, okay. If your usage exceeds the monthly free tier limit, you simply pay standard pay as you go. We got it. So we still have to keep looking, and then we find it. So pay as you go, that's what you pay. So let's read more and see what it's all about. Pay as you go. Whatever it is for pay as you go, that's what you're gonna pay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Pay as you go. Where did we see it? Free tier. Please see the free tier question. Does only have access to 750 hours? Isn't it? Okay. Okay. So we just want to see the price, billing and pricing. That's all. AWS free tier questions. I just found that and I lost it. But free trial. Billing, okay. Let's go back to billing again. Okay. Alright, we go back. Save when you reserve. Pay less by using more. Alright. So once your stuff finishes with on demand, you pay for compute capacity by hour or second. So once stuff finishes, it's gonna be on demand. Once you do the 750 hours, and you just do on demand. So if you have T2 micro, which sits here, well, I think this is T2 micro, they're gonna bill you this per hour. So say you have 40 hours extra, then you have to multiply it by this. That's how much dollar you're gonna pay, and we can do it mathematically so you can see how much dollar you're gonna pay once you go over 750. So we do our calculator here, and we do, say we have 40 hours, let's say we have 100. If we have 100, we're just gonna pay $1.16. If we have 100, if we have, let me paste this one first. So times 100, yeah. So we have that $1.16. So if you have 40, we'll be paying maybe about 50 something. All right, we'll be paying 50 something. We can paste that again and multiply by 40 hours. So we pay 46 cents. Okay, so that's that. So anything, all the information you need are here. And always when you're doing your MI, if it's a Linux distribution, make sure you have the one with long-term support, so that way it won't be crashing on you, or after you might have put your application, configure your application, and you're having problems. So we chose this T2 micro because we're not gonna run it for that long, and we don't want to pay anything. So I click on configure for configuration. So I have to be paying attention to my network, and I don't want to put it in this network. Tell me why I shouldn't put it in that network, the default network, please.
Slide cell.
So why shouldn't I put it in the light cell?
Because you mentioned something like it's more like a light.
Very light. It's very light. Yeah. It's no configuration. It's already done for you with the operating system, and the app is already there. But that's not what we want. But more of the answer to the question would be the subnet that our VPC is in. Remember? This one. That's where our VPC in. That's the network where our VPC in. And this is the subnet that our VPC in, which means the particular range of IP would be specific to that VPC. So we don't want to play with that. And now it's up to you whether you want to do auto-sign public IP or disable or use subnet setting. So if you this kind of auto-assign public IP, you know, a public IP is different from private IP. Public IP allows people to locate you, and it is on authoritative DNS. So that one will require that you have what we call elastic IP. So if you choose this one now, enable this, so it will give you the auto-assigned public IP. But the problem with that, if it's not an elastic IP, is anytime you shut the server down, guess what happens? The IP will change. You don't want that if you're giving people services. Imagine somebody come to your website to get a service, and all of a sudden the IP change and they won't get access. They denied access. You don't want that. Okay. So for the placement group, request a public IP address from Amazon public IP address, but to make your instance reachable from the internet. I understand that. But if you require a persistence public IP address that you associate and disassociate at will, use the elastic IP. So this one, when your server goes down, the IP is gonna change. Remember that. Unless you have elastic IP, I will show you elastic IP and how to get it. So now, placement group. We don't have a placement group. If you want to know more about what a placement group is, you can read that. So for the placement group, you put, like, say you have 5 servers doing the same thing in in a load balancer setup. You put them in a placement group, so you know all those servers are in there. For instance, we can put our private subnet. Like, say if we have a server in the public, like we are building this server here in the public VPC subnet, it's public subnet for our VPC. Then we have another subnet for our private. We can put them in the same placement group. So therefore, we can actually create a placement group. Okay, you can add a new placement group. We don't have an existing one. You can add a new placement group. You call it you just say pub priv EC2. All our pub priv EC2s. That's what we keep there. Okay. You just say VPC public and private EC2. That's what we call it. No complicated. You see, like I said, placement group, you can have a strategy for it. You can have a cluster, you can have it spread across, or you can have them partitioned. This is how you can roll out a load balancer at the same time. Then capacity reservation, we don't have one, we'll leave it open. You can target by group though, or target by ID. You can target by group, that means targeted by the placement group, but we're not going to do that. Let's just add the storage and move on with our lives. So I'll leave the volumes the way they are because we're not going to do much. So we have about storage size here is about, they usually will give you something about 8 gigs right here. That's what they gave us. Okay, check the route out just in case you want to detach or something happens. You want to, take another EBS and connect it to the EC2. So these are what you check out. Okay, next we're gonna target. Tagging is very important, so you know the key and the value. So for this one is I'm teaching you VPC. The value is okay. Basically, I would say for this one is a server. Okay, let's say it's just, I think I like VPC as the key. Yeah, VPC is the key. What's the value? The value is web server. That is what the VPC is gonna hold, very basically. So that's good enough. Now you can configure security group. Now for security group is interesting. When you see the 000, it's telling you that you're allowing anybody in the world to get access to your server, which is okay for now, but it's recommended to be specific to who gets access to the server. Okay, so it's okay. So we create new security group and we allow this. That's fine, but we'll change it later. I can customize it and say my IP is very secure. But if I'm working with other people, I can say a specific IP, maybe like a VPN server where I know all the people that work for me go through there to connect. I can specify that there. But for now, I can say my IP to keep it secure, okay? And I move forward. All right. And if I want to leave it open, I say anywhere. So that means anybody can get in. So I'll say my IP, and that's my VPN. Anyway, so I'll just launch it once I review the launch. And this is another part you have to remember. In this part, since we never created EC2 here, we don't have a key. So we can create a new key. And we're gonna call that new key IFACT 2020 November to remind us when we created it. Okay, so don't forget to download that key, because without this key you're not gonna be able to access the server. So we're gonna launch this instance. It says that the instance is failed, and we want to try and figure out why it failed. Okay, cluster placement. You see, read carefully. Cluster placement group are not supported for T2 micro. See? So what we can do is back to review screen.
What does that mean?
It means that they don't support the placement group that we wanted for the cluster. because they don't support it. There's nothing else we can do. So what we can do now is to go back to instance details and look and see where we can change it. This is storage, right? Okay, instance details is here. So we have to remove, where is that? Here, right? Placement group. So we don't need to do placement group anymore. Placement group, we uncheck it and we should be okay. All right, so we go next to storage and we go next to this and we go next, we reveal launch, we go launch. We're gonna use this key, we acknowledge, okay? Choose an existing key. We already, downloaded that. And hopefully this time it works perfectly well. Now we have the EC2 running, but that's not all that is. We still need to access that EC2. First, let's see. Oh yeah, it is running. It's right here. Make sure we name it appropriately. It's not light cell. So we're not gonna name it light cell. So we're gonna name it the thing that we already named. Let's not confuse ourselves. Let's just go and get the same name for the VPC and then name it that same name for the VPC. Okay, so we go to VPC, we get a name that we have for the VPC and we come back and name it the same thing because I don't want to be confused. Okay, so this is what we named it. So we just copy that, okay? Oh, we can't even copy it, but I'll figure it out. Control C, pub IFACT VPC. All right, let's do that. Pub IFACT VPC. So we go back to EC2 pub IFACT VPC, and we come back right instance is 1, and we go over here, and we do this, and I'm gonna try to see if I can use my smart to get that in there. I'm using Control C, Control V to paste. So we are good. We have it running, but we need to access it from outside. So this is where we have to bring up what is called PuTTY. So there are two of this. There's PuTTY Gen and there's PuTTY EXE. Now, the reason why we need PuTTY Gen and PuTTY EXE is specifically because we are running on a Windows operating system. If we are running on Kali Linux, it would have been a lot different. Okay, we're gonna do Open PuTTY executable. I'm gonna run it as administrator. You can download it online. It's all over the place. It's in the guidebook. And as you can see here, we don't have that new machine at all. So I'm gonna create the credentials for that new machine and I'm gonna save it. And to do that, we first have to go and get really intimate with that machine. We want to get some of the information about that machine. As you can see here, we have the public IPv4 address here. I prefer using this to get into a machine. I just prefer it because it's not exposing the IP address. However, remember I promised to show you how to get elastic IP. That way, not whenever your server, best practice is to get elastic IP, not when a server goes down and you're having problems and all that. You're running helter-skelter. Oh man, we don't know what happened. Oh man, we don't know what happened. But if you have been practicing best practices, then it won't be a problem. So we're gonna go and get an elastic IP address. Maybe I'm going about it the wrong way, but okay, let's go to services and we go to EC2 and we scroll down. We should find elastic IP somewhere here. Like right here is elastic IP, so we want to create one and associate it to that server, which is our EC2 that is in the VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. So we're gonna go to allocate IP address, Amazon pool. We choose that one because that's the one that's available. So create accelerator. We're not creating any accelerator. We're just gonna say allocate, and we're gonna see IP address here. See, But we know what we want to do with this IP address. So basically, it's not wrong if I name it already, because I know I want to associate it to that server anyway. So I name it that. But only that when I name it that, I'm just going to put at the end of it IP. So they know it's the IP address for the server of the same name. All right? Are you there? Can you still see me? So now we have that. So we go back to the EC2. Now that we have it, right? Oh, not yet, not too quick. So we want to go to the action. We want to associate it to the one that we want. So we just want to search. You see, we already have it running, so it's just the one, so not much. We want to associate it to an instance, not the network. Remember, we associate it to the instance, that IP to the instance, not the network. Okay, so it still will have its own private IP address, which is .192. I can equally go back, and before I do this, let me go back and show you before I do this. Okay, I'll show you the IP address that it already have, so that way we won't be confused at all. Okay, so now, okay, all right, so I'm gonna click on it. I click on it like that, and I scroll this up a little bit so we can have some leverage to look at some things. Okay, so this is the private IP that I have. That's the private IP that's on local machine, and this is the one that Amazon gave us. But this one we change if we restart the computer, the server. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to give it an elastic IP. I already shown you how to create an elastic IP. We did it together, and now I want to make it actionable. To make it actionable, I want to associate it to a server, and I'm going to associate it the one and only server that we have, which is this. And private IP address is the same one, .92. But I don't want to reassociate it even when it's running. So if you reassociate it when it's running, maybe somebody can reassociate it. Maybe it's a high impact server or a critical server, and it will be a problem. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to allow elastic IP address to be reassociated. So now I'm going to associate. Once I associate, I'm going to take you back. You're going to see the IPs changed. I'm going to take you back to, so we can pay a visit to that instance again. And when we pay a visit to that instance, running instance, if all goes well, it should have been changed. We are redesigning, so let's give it some time and see if it would have been changed. Okay. All right. So if you remember what we have here, we have our okay, let's see, elastic IP, elastic. Okay, we should have an elastic IP, but did we? Okay, this is an elastic IP. IP address associated successfully. Elastic IP address is this, right? So if it's associated, we should be able to have it here. Alright, so this means we have to restart this machine. Okay. Okay, it's changed now, so you can see. Are you looking?
Yes.
We didn't have to restart it. It just has a duration of a period of time that Amazon has to do something in the background to populate the actual one. So now we're gonna copy this domain qualified FQDN qualified domain name, or the DNS name from Amazon, which is this. I prefer to use it to access those machines. Okay, so usually for Ubuntu, the username is for accessing it is usually Ubuntu. So here you will write Ubuntu at that URL that you copied. But now you want to save it. You want to save it here. But there's one thing missing. What's missing is we need a key to access it, and that's where the PuTTY gen comes into play. Remember, we downloaded something in the process, and that thing we downloaded is right here. Let me show you. That thing we downloaded is right here. Okay, so I'm gonna show in folder. So I show in folder is a .pem file. So a .pem file is not gonna be good for us using PuTTY. So what we need to do is to get what is called PuTTyGen. PuTTyGen will convert this to a private .ppk file. Okay, it will get it into public and private key, which is the modern day tool used for, you know, for encryption and to access securely to a destination. Now what I'm gonna do is, since I'm gonna convert that, so therefore to convert it I have to import it. To import it I have to go to my download where it's at. Now I have imported it. This is what is being converted to. So if you read up here, it shows you the public key for it is up here. Okay, it's right there. So now I want to save the private key for it because that's what I need to access it. And I'm gonna save it where I saved all the other ones that I'm using for it. I think I have a good place that I saved them all. I think it's here. Yep, I saved them all here. So I'm gonna say IFACT. I want to make sure I save it with the same name, so in the future it'll be easy to find it. Okay, so it's a ppk file extension right here, as you can see below it. So once I save it, it becomes a ppk file, and that's that. So with that, I go back to the PuTTY. This time I'm going to the PuTTY itself, not PuTTyGen. Remember, it's the VPC server public, or better yet, some people might want to. Sorry, is the public IFACT. Sorry, that's what we are accessing. There is an EC2 in there that we are accessing. Okay. So now to access it, we need the key, authentication key, which is in this case a private key, and we have it here. I just saved it, so we're just gonna, this is it right here, and I click on it and I go back to session. Are you with me? It's a little loud and noisy out there, so I go back to session and then I save this. Once I save this, that means the key is saved and attached to the credentials that I submitted. And then, can you still see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Now once I click open, if I'm correct, it's gonna access that server we just stood up, and I'm gonna run some tests to prove to you that's the right server. Remember the IP address, private IP 10.0.0.92 IP config. So we're gonna run it here, and if config not found. All right, first you have to get update. Update. Permission denied. Ubuntu. Okay, let's do sudo I. Okay, sudo I will allow me to do some of the stuff. If config. Okay. Command if config not found but can be installed with. Okay, let's install it. App install. So there's a lot of stuff that wasn't installed. That's why I used the other one I told you, 18.04 LTS, long time support. So hopefully now when we do if config, we should be able to pull the IP address, which in this case is this. So it's correct, right? So I can go here and show you that it's the same thing. Right here is the same IP address. Are you there?
Yeah.
It's the same IP address. That's a private IP address. It's the same. Okay. So you can also say, if you do who am I, okay, you are root. But you can also say uname A, and you see right here it gives you the name of the operator, and that. You can also type host name to see if the host name matches the one that the Amazon have. Which, okay, well, let me say host name something else. Host name CTL. Alright, so host name CTL is giving us every information, even the machine ID. So with the machine ID, you can compare it to what Amazon have, and that will tell you, oh yeah, this is the right machine. But we already know it's the right machine because we checked the IP address. The IP address narrows it down. But you can also look for other parameters that you can use to check it if it's the right machine. Okay. Because we're directly on it, let me guess if we can do this. AWS. Let me see if we can do this. Snap. Okay, I need snap info AWS. Let me try that. Snap info AWS CLI. I don't think we have it. Okay. Oh, it does have it. Wow. AWS CLI is an open source tool built on AWS SDK, Python Bodo. Provide command for interacting with it. Let us stable. So it seems like it does have it. So let's do AWS S3LS. Oh, it's not installed. It's not installed. Anyway, that's not what we are doing now, but we get to it. Basically, we've been able to stand up what we needed to stand up, which in this case, we have a VPC and we put a server inside the VPC, and it looks good. Now, for the networking, as you can see, this is a private IP that we confirmed over there. Okay. No other monitoring and all of that. So this is the same thing that we confirmed, and we look good. It looks really, really good. So now we've done all these things. What are you getting from this? What are you getting from it? Like, is it easy to do it? You think it slows you down or anything?
I think it's a little complicated for me because it's the first time.
Oh, okay. But you can always watch the video.
Yeah, watch video and see how.
And take your time and you get to it. You see, you get really good at something you do all the time. That's my encouragement in whatever I do. I say, oh yeah, I do the first time, it's hard. And sometimes I design something as a software developer and architect guy. It's amazing. It took a lot of my time and then it broke. I say, oh man, how am I gonna design this again? Guess what? Each time I go back to design it again, to build it again, it's better than before. See, so that's just a reminder. So before we go, I would like to show you another trick. You can even automate the VPC. You can automate it instead of going to the console. You can actually automate that. There's a tool called Terraform you can use to automate it. Now, to show you that, I'm gonna make it very, very we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it. Don't worry, we're gonna do it. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go and get something. Let me see if I have it here. Let me see. We'll go and get something real quick. No, don't have that one. No, don't have this one either. Alright. Okay. Just give me a minute here. This thing is acting funny. It's not really what we're trying to get, but just something. I'm not trying to get this, I'm just not trying to get it. I'm not trying to get that. Okay, this is not what we're trying to get, but let's see. Okay, this is what we're trying to get for today. Automating the VPC, automating on EC2 with Terraform and all that. So that's what we're gonna do. So we are going to rely on our guide to get it done. So we're gonna go to IT Foundation and Cloud. Maybe no, we can go here, Terraform for automation. Yeah. So everybody have access to this, okay? If you have access to it, it should be easy, straight to the point. To do this, you have to install Terraform, and this is the link that allows you to install Terraform. Okay, this link here allows you to install Terraform. So to install Terraform, assumption is that you're using Windows. If not, you can look for the operating system that you're running on and use it to install it. Now I am going to check if I have Terraform. Okay, this is one reason why I made sure that everybody understand the need for PowerShell at the beginning of the program. I always make sure you install PowerShell because it allows you to interface with VMs, cloud services, and etc. So we're gonna use this to find out if we have the Terraform version already. If we do have it, then I'll go ahead and show you how to set up some of those things that we have already set up in the cloud by automation instead of manually going to the console. Okay, so while that one is going on and coming up, let's download Terraform module, use Git, a web browser. This is one of the reasons why I asked everybody to get an account on GitHub, because most of the developers and people in the business, they have their stuff in the GitHub, and if you have access to their links, you can actually set things up. I mean, take what they've already set up to use for yourself. Okay. So we're just gonna follow this instruction just to get our Terraform going. That's all we need from here. And there are a few things we can do here. So like that, we can do and see if we have Terraform version. It's not showing us that we have one. So let me go back again and try. Let's click OK, save on Terraform version. Go to PowerShell and enter that. So I went to PowerShell and entered that. It didn't work. Okay, let me see if my spelling is correct. Okay, I entered that, it didn't work. So I don't have Terraform. I'll try it again because I see I probably made a mistake somewhere. I had a feeling I installed it in the past, but okay, still didn't install it. Alright, fine. We know for sure that we haven't installed it. So what do we do now? We go here. We go to this website, one website here. We have only 27 minutes, man. Hopefully we get it done. So we go to this website. It says download Terraform, and if you look here, it has different for different operating systems. And we'll look and see if it has something for Windows. Right here is something for Windows, and my system is 64-bit. So I'm gonna install that. Download that first. After that, I'm gonna unzip it. After unzipping it, I'm gonna install it. Okay, so I'm just gonna open the file, and I'm gonna try to extract it. Okay, I'm gonna extract all. I don't like where I'm extracting into, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna extract. Hopefully it will. I'll extract it in download, but I want to create a folder for it because I don't know how it's gonna spread it. So I don't know how it's gonna lay it out. Sorry. So Terraform. Okay, now I know for sure it's gonna be in that folder now. So it's gonna lay it out. It's gonna put it in there, and it's just an executable file. So I go back to the download, look for this, and I just run it. it will just execute it. But I had to pay attention to make sure that I put the executable, the binaries in the right path. So as you can see, it ran it like real quick. I didn't know what it did with it, but I saw it ran something real quick. So let me see if I've done it right by reading instructions instead of doing things. Download Terraform, other documents, Terraform CLI. So this one here is check the this one, get started with hands-on tutorial, HashiCorp Learn. We do this. Alright, the only thing we can do is to see if we install it. So I didn't read any much of a document there. If it doesn't show, then we have to go to program files to see where it's at. Okay, Terraform. Okay, cool. We gotta go to let's see if I can get CMD. See if it actually did install it anywhere. I do dir and I go program files, which is here. Oh, what is that? Eclipse. Oh, maybe it's not here. Do dir here. Okay. CD do users. Then you do dir here. So what we are looking for is this guy here. See if I can copy this, all of this. If I can copy all of this, go here, go edit, copy, go here, bing. So we are looking for users. Okay, I didn't see anything there. Maybe I should check here. I should see a Terraform. Okay, I didn't see Terraform here either. Maybe I should check the next one. It tells me that probably I didn't install it well. ST. Okay, so something is wrong. Let's go back and use our sixth sense to install it properly. Okay, so download Terraform. We downloaded Terraform. Okay, let's see if there's a readme file where we downloaded it to see what it's requiring from us. Okay, that's only executable. And let's go back again to this. We extracted it and we ran it. Still didn't give us what we wanted. So below are available downloads. Terraform is displaying a single binary. Terraform, unzipping it and moving it to a directory included in your path. Okay, unzip it. It says to unzip it and setting environment variable, executable path. Alright, so there's something I just learned. So they are saying that we should unzip it. Once we unzip it, we want to take it, go to control. My computer, sorry. We want to go to my computer. Sorry. I want to go to my computer and go to properties. And in the properties, I want to go to, I think, advanced. And then we look at the environmental variables. No. Let it come up first. Let's see. So we go here. My computer. Oh, is that what I want to do? Oh, settings, tablets, multitask. No, not that. Not like that. My computer. Properties. So you go to advanced. What's advanced? Change. Home. System updates. interesting. Should be here. Okay, it should be like this, I think. Device manager, system protection, advanced system, I think. Okay, so advanced system, you go to environmental variable and you look for the path under the system variable. Okay, like the path here, every path is here, but what we want to do is want to edit it. I don't think it's this one. Is it this one? Let me think again. Okay. Alright, looks like this one. Okay, let's take a look at this one. For sure is this one, okay? The system variable, that's where you want to go. Here you want to do new. So to do new, you want to go and get this folder in a download where you put it. You know you put it in a download, but it's not a very good place to put this kind of stuff. So you want to take this and put it in like C or document, stuff like that. So I want to cut it. I want to cut it completely, and I want to come to C here and place it. Alright, I want to place it somewhere here. Alright, so I'm placing it there. So now I created new, and I want to come to new. I'm going to go back to wherever I placed it, which in this case was in C. I'm going to find it. So I'm going to do this, terraform. I think it should pop up. Yeah, this is it. So I'm going to take the whole directory here. Yeah, I'm going to take this whole directory. I don't like the way it's showing up. Let me go back. See if there's a way I can make it not to show up like that. Right. Okay. I don't like the way it's showing up. Oh my goodness, so ugly. Oh man, just don't like the way it's showing up. Oh man. This is terraform. Oh, okay. Okay, this is much better. Okay, this is much better. I like the way it shows up now. So I go to new, I paste it here. Okay, and I say okay. I say okay again. I say okay here, and I close out. Now if I go to I believe if I go to CMD, I go to where it is, I believe CD, maybe anywhere at all. I can say CD terraform. Okay, I can now do terraform version. Should be able to work. Okay, shows us the version. So this is my CMD, but I could possibly go to my PowerShell and do the same thing. It showed us the version of terraform, but now I can also do the same thing here. But before I do that, let me run the PowerShell as admin. See what happens this time. I'm not saying that's the reason why we had a problem. The reason why we had a problem is because we didn't have the executable in the right path. Okay, where it will actually execute whenever you call terraform to perform functions. Alright, so let's see how this one is gonna go down. The only drawback we're gonna have is probably we might not have a access key. If not, we'll try it another day. But meanwhile, let's see what happens when we test it to see if terraform is here. Terraform, right? Version. You with me? Are you with me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
So as you can see, we've gotten the terraform version, so we're good to go according to what we set out to do. This terraform version, we've done it. We're not scared. We took our time. We went step by step. We solved the problem as it comes up. That's the confidence we want to build. Now going back to what helped us to solve the problem is this. So we give credit to that. So we move out of that, we still go back to Terraform form. So we did the first one, we're able to install Terraform. The next thing we're gonna have to do is we can create a VPC, but however, I think I have the VPC code somewhere. So we're gonna go and find the VPC code. I have it somewhere. If we don't find it today, then we'll do it another time, but we'll find it and we'll play with it. It's probably in somewhere here. Oh, maybe here. Okay, let's search. Let's go and search. So I usually have all the stuff here in the group here. Terraform automation. Okay, so we have it here. So this file you're looking at is a very interesting file. There are specific files you have to get to make this happen. These are the two files that you need to make this happen. So when you read, let me show you here. IFACT VPCTF. So these are the two files that you need. So I'm gonna open them one by one, so you see what's inside. Open with. Oh, okay. TXT. It's a bunch of codes, as you can see. A bunch of codes is TF is Terraform. Those things with the ampersand means that they are commented out. So we are looking at the provider version 2.0. So I declared an access key, which is my access key, and I declared a secret key, which is my secret key. I declared the region, which is my region, and here I also declared, and I'm gonna say what I want to do here. Resource. I want to create this resource, AWS VPC, IFACT Auto VPC. That's what I want to create. Another VPC. That's what I want to create. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna create a subnet, which is another subnet. These are what I'm gonna create. Basically, what I'm saying is what I've already done with you manually could have been done automatically if we have secret key and access key ID and secret key ID. So these are the security group that I will set up for it. As you can see here, it's quite different. It's port 22 from and to TCP, and these are the ports that are going to be opened, and these are the network control list, pretty much. So everything that I want, the resource that I need and all of that, I specify them here. Even the internet access, if I wanted to have internet access, which means the gateway comes into play. And here I say end of VPCTF, end. That one is done. Now there's another folder. This is a very important folder. Is the variables. This is where the actual variables are. Meaning those access keys, secret key, all of that, I have to specify what they are. These are for my old machines. Okay, these are for my old machines. They mean nothing now because it's been taken down. I used it to teach a class and I took it down. All right, so they don't exist anymore, but I specified what I wanted. Like as you can see, the CIDR is slide 16, but I can specify it to be a 24. Okay, and all of that. See, so you have to be very careful so you don't make a mistake. So because we've done it before, now I know the variables that we've already used. Like we did is2a, I can still do another is2a to make it work. Okay, is2a. But with all this being said, can you tell me one reason why we're not going to be able to create the VPC even if we run the automation, if we follow the procedure specified by Terraform, which we can find here? Give me 1 second. I think somebody's here. So can you tell me why, even if we run the automation following the stipulations, that it's not gonna run? Can you tell me why, based on the information that what you know about AWS and how to access resources from outside the console?
I have no idea.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll show you. You see here, you can't do anything outside the console without the access key ID and secret key.
Okay.
Remember,
Yeah, the access
you
key.
can't do nothing without that. So for the account that I'm using, we didn't create that. And because we didn't create that, I think we put the plug here. Next time, we will create the VPC in automation, and you will see how it works. It will be like magic. So the commands are here, and you can go home and read the guide, and you look at the document. This is online on our Google Drive. So to do it, you have to initialize it. Once you initialize it and you run the files that I named, especially you run this file here, the terraform initialize, you have to run it in the folder where all those files are. So I'll be able to show it to you, and I would like for you to be prepared for the next class, and we go through it. Okay?
All right.
And we run it. No problem. Just watch the video and we come back and you get more idea and start playing with things, and it's very easy, you know.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
we're gonna wrap up. We did well, 7:21. I didn't want to overload you with a lot of information, but I'll thank you again for coming, and I'll thank everybody that watches the video from time to time. We try to break things down so that everybody can understand it. Before we go, we want to thank Lockdown LLC for being supportive of the program, and as well give a great thanks to Each One Teach One Tech for arranging and implementing this program. Until next time, bye for now. This is Josiah.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye.